Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most celebrated stories ever written, Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquiz. So today we'll talk about this book. So let us begin. So this book explores what it really means to love someone, not for a season but for an entire lifetime. We'll talk about the story, the author, the themes and why this novel continues to captivate readers even decades after it was first published. So let us start. So before we get into the novel, let us talk a bit about Gabriel Garcia Marquez, who is the author of this novel. He was a Colombian novelist, a journalist, and a Nobel Prize winner in literature in 1982. Marquez is considered one of the most important writers in 20th century and a master of magical realism, a style where everyday life is blended with touches of extraordinary. You might have heard of his other masterpieces such as 100 Years of Solitude, which put Latin American literature on the world stage. Love in the Time of Cholera was published in 1985, and though it came after the Nobel Prize, it still became one of the most beloved work of Gabriel Garcia Marquez, especially for its deep, mature take on love. Now let us talk about the plot of this book and let us dive more deep. The story takes place in the Caribbean port city, inspired by Marquez's own hometown, Cartagena. It begins in late 19th century and unfolds for over 50 years. So this is an epic timeline for love and waiting. We follow three central characters in the story. The very first is Fermina Daza, who is a proud and beautiful woman. The second is Florentino Arizo, a shy, poetic man hopelessly in love with her. And the third one is Dr. Juvenal Urbino, the sophisticated rational doctor who eventually marries Fermina Daza. Initially, Florentino and Fermina fall in love as teenagers through secret letters, but their romance is cut short when Fermina's father disapproves. She later marries Urbino, whose wealth and prestige promise stability. Florentino, however, never gives up. He spent over 50 years waiting for Fermina, through wars, epidemics, and hundreds of casual affairs, until the day Dr. Urbino dies. And in their old age, Florentino finally tells Fermina that I have waited for this opportunity more than half a century to repeat to you once again my vow of eternal fidelity and everlasting love. This line captures the soul of the entire story. Now let us talk about the theme and the meaning behind the entire book. So basically, on the surface, this is a love story, but it's not your typical romance. It explores different states of love: youthful infatuation, marital companionship, betrayal, loneliness, aging, and endurance of desire. One of the biggest questions this book asks is that what actually is love? Is love a disease like cholera, or is love a cure for it? So basically, Marquez constantly parallels loves with the symptoms of illness: the fever, trembling, the sleeplessness, blurring the line between passion and sickness. So this is the central theme of the story. This novel also mediates on time, how love changes as people grow older, and whether something pure from youth can survive the decay of age and experience. So this is the question Gabriel Garcia Marquez tries to ask from this story. Now let us talk about some uniqueness and the unique style of Marquez. So what makes this book unique is Marquez's tone, slow, sensual and soaked in atmosphere. His writing is poetic but grounded, detailed yet full of emotions. The Caribbean world he builds, filled with paradise, riverboats, cholera outbreaks, the faded colonial mansion, it really makes the story feel alive. Unlike most love stories that ends with youth and marriage, this one begins just after the both, and it asks if love can still bloom in old age or not. That inversion actually make it deeply human and profoundly moving. Now, when The Love in the Time of Cholera was published in 1985, it was an instant international success. Critics praised it as a masterpiece of mature storytelling. Readers all over the world were so enchanted that even today it is one of the most quoted love novels ever written. In 2007, it was adapted into a Hollywood film, but honestly, the book's magic, it is hard to replicate on the cinema. So friends, for me, Love in the Time of Cholera isn't just about love. It's about endurance, memory, and the stubborn hope of the human heart. Florentino Ariza's half-century of waiting can seem foolish to some people, but there is something etchingly beautiful in his faith. A reminder that love, however imperfect, remains one of the strongest forces in the life. If you have wondered how love changes over a period of time, or what happens when it doesn't, this book is a must-read for you guys. So thanks for watching this video. This was all about this video. If you have read the book, share your thought in the comment section. And do you think Florentino's love story was romantic or it was just obsessive? Please do drop a comment. Thank you.